GM, we are live, and this BR instantly fired. We're hopping right in to a BR this morning. Artillery Frost, GM to you. I wish I could really say it was a good morning, but yesterday was kind of a nightmare. Let's first talk about the elephant in the room. CMC hops up on the injury report, limited by a calf, skipped out on his post-practice presser that he normally does on Thursdays. Not great. My panic level for somebody who is overweight CMC is very, very high. It's very, very high. But hold on. First of all, I have to address some accusations. And while that is not an old photo of me, I just simply still rock the Kimbo 305 shirt. You got to remember your roots. I will not stop wearing that. When that shirt wears down, I will have another one manufactured. So no, that photo is from probably 4 months ago. But yes, I will continue to wear that shirt, especially if there's a big UFC event coming up in honor of his legendary UFC stint. But no, he is a Miami legend. But yes, very bad news on CMC. Really hoping that he at the very least has a limited practice today. Full practice is the dream. Then we could all look on this as as we were overreacting to nonsense. But the concern meter is absolutely high. Artillery Frost should call it Wake Up Battle Royales. That's a good point. I need, and I've actually was thinking about that. I need to rename the show for in-season stuff. And I just hadn't thought of a good name. I did not have time to make a new thumbnail. I haven't done a Daniel's Neighbors team, so we'll do Daniel's Neighbors here. I don't think the bringbacks are quite as crucial in BRs. I don't prioritize a bringback, but I also don't want no Malik Neighbors, and he's kind of been a blind spot for me so far in these early ones because I take a ton of Drake London there. I think Drake London is, to me, the best wide receiver on this slate, so I just grab him every time. But, again, I don't want to be 100% levered. But yes, I do want to rename the show. I want to cover Battle Royales. I want to do a little DFS, a little regular fantasy. So I'm just not sure what to call it. I'm soliciting name suggestions. Wake Up Battle Royales. Yeah, I'm worried Battle Royales is too niche, but that's what we're going to mostly be doing. So I don't know. We might stick with the Wake Up theme though. Greg, GM Squad, GM to you. Appreciate you coming by. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out again last night. The CMC news kind of has me shook. Miles Sanders getting caught from behind. If Miles Sanders houses that touchdown, I mean, my God, I am heavily overweight Miles Sanders from where I should be. And, he gets run down from behind and then he fumbles at the goal line. Like the absolute worst run out. We could have had there. So we'll see if he's a part of the plans when Blue gets back. But with Javonte, at least being competent, and Jaden Blue kind of a last minute scratch, seems like he probably would have had those touches that went to Sanders. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Chase Brown, I have said this before. I think he's in that top tier of running backs. I don't understand his ADP. I don't know why he's going at pick 17. Should be a very positive game script against Cleveland. He's still the bell cow. I do not understand this price. I will take him pretty much every time he is there. Kittle's a fun click, but let's just go Chase Brown. Josh Jacobs will tie up the running back room here. McLaurin's fine. I've been taking more Debo than McLaurin. I think that combo will be lower owned. And frankly, I think Debo's going to outscore McLaurin this week. Call it a hunch. Call it intuition. I really think that Debo's going to have a little bit more of a rushing role than maybe we expect with them kind of getting the running back room sorted. I think there's a chance that Debo week to week will outscore McLaurin anyway. And I won't be surprised either way. If McLaurin outscores Debo, that's also not a shocker. But for the difference, I think in ownership you're going to get in BRs, especially in the 6-person BRs, I am more than willing to reach down and grab that. Yeah, Artillery Frost, I am in such denial about this CMC stuff. It is absolutely brutal. GM Kendall Crew, hey, best ball and call. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. GM to you, has Jaden Blue helpline been set up yet? I was out on Jaden Blue. I did not like him as a prospect. I had none pre-draft. I was making jokes that Jerry Jones drafted him because he thought he was, going to get access to Bonnie Blue. It turns out the Cowboys did like him enough, and his pathway couldn't be more clear because Javonte didn't look that great either. I mean, he was able to punch in a couple short yardage touchdowns, but it wasn't like he was, had turned back the clock or anything. So we will see. And X-Ball soft faded CMC and best ball. Well, I'm holding out hope that was a bad fade. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, NX-Ball, because I was the opposite. I was heavily overweight. The other thing we could do Zach Ertz. I haven't really done a Zach Ertz team. Maybe we do Ertz Tyreek, because Tyreek's usually gone here. That might be a little bit more unique. If Tyreek goes, then I'll take a tight end plus Debo. So Tyreek does go. That's fine. Let's queue up Debo and then a tight end. I haven't really been doing much in Njoku, but maybe that's a little bit of a blind spot for me. Again, I'm not super bring back oriented, but maybe he's a guy if I have absolutely none of, before Fannin takes over, we might feel silly. So let's do Debo and Njoku. Wind this team up with Jaden Daniels, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Malik Neighbors, Debo Samuel, and David Njoku. I'll pull the board up so people can see what other rooms have been doing. We'll catch up with the chat or wake up DFS. Yeah, I've got to do something. I mean, I don't want to completely. I like the wake up. That was how I wanted to start it. I just think it's it's kind of like a morning show. Like it's not going to be the most. I'm not going to like blind you with numbers and stats like when you wake up. We try to just keep a good energy, talk some football, keep it like light. So that's why I kind of like that. But I don't know. We'll see. That's not bad. Wake up DFS. We might go that way. Annex, while Miles Sanders' fumble was crucial. Oh, so brutal. Chef's kiss for the Javonte faithful. They have been rewarded. Their faith has been rewarded. If the Tolbert red zone target converted, I'd have a crazy sweat for tonight's game. So close. I did see that one. And I thought back to the halcyon days of us drafting Jalen Tolbert before Pickens arrived and thinking we had the wide receiver 2 in Dallas. So some big board bags would have liked that conversion as well. Hard disagree on the Javonte assessment, but I guess I'm biased myself. So you feel like you saw a little more out of Javonte. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think I saw anything special, but I guess he was competent enough. It's also week 1. Like players do have a tendency sometimes to kind of like grind down over the year. Now he's only 25, Javonte, so he's still super young, but I don't know. I mean, he didn't look like a spry young running. I mean, that's 1 year older than RJ Harvey, and it's I don't know. Maybe it's just cope for me because it was a pretty hard fade. Greg says, thought he looked great hitting the hole decisively with some pop. Yeah, I mean, again, I think of that more as like I would be excited if I had seen that from a more like veteran back that I was worried about. I feel like that was like at table stakes for Javonte. Picked up a sick blitz pick up in the middle on the third play of the game. I mean, that's what keeps guys on the field is that kind of stuff. So same team that wanted to run Zeke out RB1. Well, that's the key, right? Like if you just become the Zeke on a team that does that, you have a path to like massive fantasy relevance. Okay, dog bowl's nowhere near filling. So I had to decide exactly how I want to do this. I don't know if I really want to max BR because that's going to get expensive every week. The Wildcat, maybe we'll just run some Wildcats, try to do some different builds because that's a $3. Again, Huhames and I were talking about this yesterday, wishing that they had a $3.50 max, which I think they did last year, but the Wildcat's a $1.50 max. So we'll see if we can get these. I just don't know if these are going to fill that fast. But anyway, this is a Wildcat. This is a $3 tournament. exact same format as the regular BR, 10,000 to first. So we will not scoff at that. Let's see how many people are in this. So it's 37,500. How many are in the main BR? The main BR is 52,900. So slightly smaller, I guess maybe 2/3 the size roughly as the main BR, but a little bit lower of a price point. It's 450 to max instead of 1,000 whatever it is. 1,000 whatever it is. Whatever 7 times 150 is. Whatever 7 times 150 is, it costs that much to max BR. So let's see, is this one? All right, the Wildcat has fire. Oops. What is going on with this one? I hope this dog bowl didn't get bugged. I ran a dog bowl before, and then it's still showing up in my upcoming. So I hope this guy actually did draft a quarterback and didn't break it, because I liked that team. All right, so this time we are in at the 101. Now, I had been taking CMC as my 101, and now I am terrified of doing that. So I don't think I'm going to fully fade CMC. The good news is that you get to do a form of late swap where you can rank your players and it will sub them in. What I will do if CMC is out, I will put B-Rob as basically my 101. So any teams I had CMC, being that B-Rob was not going to be drafted in those contests, I should get them. Now, the priority for subs, I believe it's reverse draft order. So I think if somebody had a questionable player that's later ruled out from a later pick, they could potentially get them. But the way this slate is going, I don't think we have anybody like that. I don't think anyone's really going to have rostered any. I don't think there's anyone that people were actually drafting that has any chance of missing, barring something very strange happening late. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think anyone took Christian Kirk early in this, and if they did, they may already be full at running back anyway. So odds are drafting CMC isn't too terrible. If he doesn't play, you'll get the plug-in of Brian Robinson. Of course, that means that B-Rob will ultimately be, if CMC is out, probably near 100% owned in the contest, because everyone with CMC likely will get B-Rob. Now, of course, that could vary slightly depending on what the default ranks are. Not everybody sets ranks, but I think the ranks end up being sort of like the ADP at the very end of the contest. And so if B-Rob suddenly becomes drafted in every contest, he likely will be high enough to where he'll just naturally be the default plugin, but it's possible that he won't. So we will see. We'll see. Hopefully all this is a moot point. Easy to hit souls on site credit. Yeah. Davis had a absolutely fantastic comment in his Discord about having $1,000 of site credit on a guy who's going to get cut. It was a chef's kiss right at the moment when Miles Sanders fumbled. Unfortunately, well, we're not using site credit here, and so we are watching as CMC slides to the 6 here in this contest. So people, the fear is palpable. The fear is indeed palpable. Let's see what we get here. We got Jamar Chase. I don't really love Jamar Chase as a 101, but if I truly am going to run a ton of these, I'll sprinkle him in so I don't have stone zero. I don't really have to like it. Do we want to take Burrow with him? That's going to be the first question we're asked. I'm okay not stacking Burrow with Chase. I feel like that's probably fine. It'll just depend where else we want to go. I feel like Bucky London is just a nice natural pivot here. And if we want to make this a Penix team, I think that's kind of fun. We can just bet on that Atlanta Tampa Bay being the shootout. If Burrow came back, we could take him. Burrow goes to somebody. Maybe they're going to plan on take Higgins, or maybe they just are happy with naked Burrow. We will see. I don't know if that's where I would have taken Burrow if I was that person. I don't think Higgins is super high in the default. Yeah, he's down here. So, who knows? He may still get Higgins, and it'll be again another mooted out discussion. I'll pull the board up so people can see the combos that players build. One of the bigger choices on this slate is also, the first big choice is Daniels, because there's only one elite quarterback on the slate. Or by elite quarterback, I mean quarterback with big rushing upside that we were drafting highly. The other quarterbacks with big rushing upside, Fields essentially goes undrafted in most of these contests. Typically, I mean, if you want to take Fields, Garrett Wilson with your last 2 picks, you can do it 99% of the time. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying like that's a combination you can get that should be low owned, that has a potential spike week quarterback. It's also the game environment that is, every analyst who's making content says it's going to be absolutely disgusting. You have Aaron Rodgers, who likes to bleed the clock to zero. You have the Jets, who are projecting to be very run heavy. So it could be a very low paced game. That said, it is still, we can be wrong when we project these things. So I'm willing to take a few stabs at like Fields Wilson teams in this contest with just how low owned that's going to be. Normally I said I like Chase Brown. Don't really want to do Chase Brown and Jamar Chase, especially if I don't get Burrow. If I wanted to do Burrow and mega stack the game, I could do that. Let's get A-Chain in here. And then I'm pretty agnostic as to these tight ends. I'll take A-Chain and I'll take Tyler Warren. I don't have a ton of Warren. This will give me optionality. I could actually make this a Daniel Jones team, which might make me a little unique to the Penix teams that are building like this. That might be a little gal-brained though, because I don't think Penix is going to be super owned. I think you're going to get a few Penix versus Baker teams. People will likely defer to Baker in my estimation there. But I think Tyler Warren, Daniel Jones is going to be very low owned combo in this. Daniel Jones was the other rushing QB I was going to mention. I like Daniel Jones as a last round free QB. You can pair him with Pittman. You could pair him with Downs. That's the only issue to me is it's going to be very difficult to pick up which passing partner to do with Jones. I think there's arguments for all 3 of them, Warren, Pittman, and Downs. I think there's a chance that you could even end up, this is more for DFS, overstacking it. I think Jonathan Taylor with Daniel Jones is live. I might do 1 or 2 BRs with that. I think it's generally wrong to do the quarterback with the running back, but if you get one of those true crazy game scripts, I wouldn't mind a team with like Tyreek on one side and then Taylor and Jones on the other. I think that's something that's going to be low owned that actually does have some outs. Again, we're trying to finish first in a 36,000 person contest, so uniqueness is really one of the main ways we can get there. So let's do Daniel Jones. Let's do a Daniel Jones team. Again, I think this is going to be something that people are generally hesitant to do. So this team ends up being Daniel Jones, Bucky Irving, Devon A-Chain, Jamar Chase, Drake London, and Tyler Warren. Newer to the BR streets, I'll soak up this info. Well, yeah, BR is a super fun game. It's a super fun game, and you can build lots of cool stuff. I mean, it's very easy to scroll too far and sacrifice projection, but for me, scrolling too far is more in the like running backs and receivers. Like, there is no reason to take Trey Tucker or Jake Bobo, I like, or Marvin Mims. Like, I think that's maybe Marvin Mims. It was a bad example because like you could get that like random 30-point game, but that's like dicey. Like, if there's not like true spike week guys, like I just wouldn't do Xavier Legette or like Luke. Like, I wouldn't do anything crazy like that. But there's no reason. Like, look at all these names that went undrafted here. Nobody took Tyreek. Nobody took JSN. Nobody took Sutton. You go a little past that. Like, Travis Hunter could be an explosion. Garrett Wilson, Cooper Kupp, Calvin. Nobody wants to take Calvin Ridley because everyone's scared of Surtain. Like, you can get unique in this. You don't have to scroll past, this kind of Shahidi zone. Like I just wouldn't take like Alec Pierce. Like, there's just like, you can get too cute. But I think also like the guys above Tyreek are going to be 100%. Like Igbuka's going to be 100% owned. McLaurin's going to be pretty much 100% owned. Like these guys are so live to be outscored by any number of these guys down here that I would definitely try to mix in some of these scrolls. Yeah, Tua is a possibility. I could have done Tua in A-Chain for the same reasons. The reason I like Jones a little more is because he has that rushing floor where Tua just simply doesn't. Like Tua's gonna have no rushing yards. Like I don't think they allow him to cross the line of scrimmage. It's like the shopping carts. There's like a line and they lock up. Like I don't think the Dolphins allow him to go over the shopping cart line because they don't want him to get hurt. But yeah, I mean, if Tua gets there, if A-Chain has 2 receiving touchdowns, and that's obviously like could be connected to Tua. I don't mind those if with a few running backs like A-Chain whose path to massive spike weeks is possibly receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. Like that's not terrible. I just feel like it's getting a little bit thin. Like I don't think it's something you should try to do most of your drafts. I was thinking Tua might be good if Reek goes undrafted. Reek goes drafted most of the time. Actually, this is the first time I remember I've seen Tyreek go undrafted in this. I think people do tend to like getting him in. And remember, I'm not just competing against the people in this draft room. Like winning this pod gets me nothing. Like the only things that matter are finishing in this top 4,000 where you double your money in this. And the real money like doesn't start till like finishing in the top 10. So yeah, these wildcat drafts are fun. They're, it's $3. It's a little bit lotto tickety, but they're good to cut your teeth on, where you can run a few without like busting your bankroll. Jake Vinegar, GMTU, wake up Royal Rumble. Yes, this is like the form of Royal Rumble here. Best bond called Tyreek undrafted seems a little wild. Yeah, I don't get it. Let's hop in a main BR. The main BR is a little more spicy as far as the payout structure. You got 50K up top. Top 25 pays out 1,000. The other one you had to get into top 10 to get down there. Min cash at the 9,500 is $10. So you don't double your money in this one. You only make $3 for the min cash. So we're really playing for the weeks where we finish in this top 10. Like we're really trying to make something that separates, which is why to get there, I think the 2 paths to really get there are, uniqueness, where you scroll and you get like a low owned player and now you're competing against a much smaller segment of the team, or you get some kind of crazy fall. Like if you get some kind of really weird, unique combo, like if somehow you made Chase Gibbs, like that's going to be ultra super duper rare. And if that hits, like then I wouldn't, I'd still probably do some scrolling because I like some of the names, but then you don't have to go into the depths of Narnia to get different. But I think generally 90% of the time, the easiest way is to do a little bit of scrolling. Al Boogie, GM, Javonte 101 next week. Well, I will say this, Javonte will definitely be 100% drafted in the Dog Bowl next week in the 12-person drafts, and could end up live in these. We will see. I'm so seal-pilled. I thought the 6-hole's name was ARF and it's BRF. I was really excited that somebody had leaned into the seal life, and they were ARF there, but alas, they are not. Again, I drafted with Chad G20 yesterday, and I again, if I were one of these other people, I would be worried about some collusion between the Chads, but I do not know who Chad G20 is. But let's see what we can get. I have a feeling CMC is going to drop to me, and then we're going to have to make the decision on whether to take him or not. I probably will take him, because if I get Brian Robinson instead, that's just how the fates are going to dictate it. Also, I might try to push CMC into the second round, because then if he does play, like if CMC is a full go at practice today or is limited, but they say he's going to play, well, then all of a sudden CMC is going to just be back at the 2 regularly. And maybe it'll be impossible to get, Nico CMC or JT CMC, something like that. Jaden Daniels randomly falls. I would include Daniels CMC in there, but some people just, what it's easy to do in these is to say, like, I am getting this stack before the draft. Like you say, I'm going to do Matthew Golden, Jordan Love. This is a Golden Love team. Those are my last 2 picks. And then you kind of ignore like Jaden Daniels falling to you. Like, don't get stack lock. That's another thing. Like, keep flowing with the board. It's really good to have like those late stacks in mind that you want to mix in, but plan your other picks around them. But if the room gives you something, like, don't ignore that. I would say is very important. Alcheli Frost, NGL, Javonte scoring 2 touchdowns, having less than 20 points has me sleeping like a baby. Yeah. I am not as worried. I am not as worried about some. All right, let's do Daniels and let's see if we can get CMC on this team. If we don't get CMC, maybe we do Daniels Bowers. I feel like Barf is a coward. Yeah, Barf is a coward. Let's do CMC. I think this is going to be hard to get if he's healthy. Yeah, Greg disagreed. Greg thought that Javonte looked fine. I didn't think he looked anything special. Also, by the way, 27 minutes in, I have not asked if you could like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, if you have anything you want to see, anything you guys want to talk about, again, this format is going to, we'll just see what people want to do, because a lot of the people that are into best ball aren't fully into BRs yet. I just want to, I want this to be like a fantasy DFS BR, BR stuff where we can talk about any of those things that are going on. But right now, I think the easiest thing to do is to transition from best ball to BRs. But again, we can do whatever we want. The morning is our oyster. I think there's a lot of people who were doing content are dropping off during the season. I don't plan to do that. I'd love to continue doing these morning shows, but I want it to be the things that the people want to see. We got Daniels and CMC here. Bucky Irving would be a little bit of a faller. That'd be kind of nice. Mike Evans, interesting. Tyreek, again, I can't believe Tyreek went undrafted in that last contest. But again, sometimes people kind of get that take lock, and that guy needs a running back. I quite like Josh Jacobs. I feel like we could see a world where the Green Bay just wants to absolutely just pound the football. So let's take Jacobs there, with the idea that we will take a wide receiver next. The question will be Mike Evans or Tyreek Hill. I like both of these options myself. I'm almost thinking I'm going to take Evans, and maybe we'll try to do Evans Tyreek. Maybe we try to do Evans Tyreek. The idea on this team is that this is going to be a Zach Ertz team. If Evans and Tyreek go, then this is going to be a Deebo Samuel team. So those are, just so you all know, kind of my thought process on how I want to do this. If you're drafting on your phone, it will ghost out the positions that you cannot draft. You can't even see who's there. So like, I can see the quarterback tab, but I cannot draft a quarterback. I can see the running back tab. I can't draft a running back. I already have 2 running backs. I can't take another one. So the phone lets you see that. This one, you just gotta know. Like if I go to try to draft Baker, it just won't let me when I'm up. The other thing that's very important to do, know the positions of the players around you. For example, if I, for some reason, needed a quarterback, if I did not have Jaden Daniels, I can look at ARF here, and I see they have a quarterback. So if I'm between 2 players, I do not want to take a quarterback. I take my other player and then the quarterback, because they can't snipe me on quarterback. So it's, again, that's kind of an obvious example, but this happens. Like if this guy had 2 running backs and I needed a running back, he can't take another running back. So I could push running back to my second pick. And this happens with even not just the one person. This will happen if you have two or three people even between you. So just something to keep in mind. It's a very important thing for BRs. So let's take Tyreek here. I think that's pretty fun. And then we'll take Ertz. Again, the other thing, this guy already has a tight end. Now you can take two tight ends. You can do that, but 99% of people don't do it. And you should not be in that 1% because it's simply not going to work. Like it's not going to work for you. Don't do that. Do not be tempted. So this team ends up being Jaden Daniels, CMC, Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, and Zach Ertz. Kind of fun. Zach Ertz will not be owned in most contests. Daniels will mostly be paired with McLaurin. He'll then be paired with Debo, even less paired with Ertz. So trying to just get a little bit unique, make us up against some different combinations if Daniels goes off. All right. Best ball on call. So I'm generalizing. If you're not unique up top, probably a good idea to be unique at the end. Yes, essentially. And it's very hard to get unique up top. Like it's very hard. The ADPs can kind of vary a lot room to room, but I would recommend generally like scrolling a little bit, but you don't have to like go nuts. If you get unique up top, that's fine, but just know like it's very hard to win these week to week if you don't have any any scrolls. It's pretty, because you're up against a lot of the field that's not scrolling and are just jamming the highest ADP teams. So there are dupes in this contest that do happen, and you're also going to find yourself like 2v2 or 1v1 against like a ton of teams when you do that. Like you're just somebody like smarter than me, like Mathology or Nez could explain it better, but you're just like the combinations you're up against are going to be a lot more difficult than when you have like truly unique stuff a little bit further down in the depths of the draft. And you don't even have to go that far, and you're still getting really good players. All right, let's see what the dog bowl's at. This was stuck at 7 for a while, waiting for 1. All right, let's do a dog bowl. Dog bowl is a 12-person contest and super duper top heavy. So this is 5,208 people, $25 entry. Basically winner take all. You got to finish in the top 3, and you don't get $10,000. You get a seat in the dog bowl. Now, I can't remember if the minimum payout is $10,000, but you're going to compete for like $200,000. You get a trip to Kansas City. You get all the glory. If you don't win the top 3, you're going to have a bad time. Like nobody is happy getting 4th. Nobody's happy to get that $1,000. That's the worst $1,000 you'll ever win. We are in these to try to just ship the contest. This is as Nez put it, a bankroll bleeder. This is a contest where, you really need to have aside if you want to do it, a certain budget for how many contests you want to enter to try to win that dog bowl seat. I'm going to try to win a dog bowl seat this year. I'm probably going to enter about 20 lineups each week. It's 150 max. There is no way I'm going to do that. That will be way too expensive. And I'm likely to go broke before I get a seat in the dog bowl. So we're going to try to do it. Big difference here, 12-person drafts. So running backs get very thin in this contest, even more thin than in BR. Valuing uniqueness again is important, but you don't have to go truly crazy. Typically saving quarterback and tight end for the last picks, but opinions may vary on that. If you get like a truly separating Brock Bowers, I might be into that. I've taken some Brock Bowers in the dog bowl. So let's see what goes to us. Josh Jacobs goes at the 101, which I've never seen before in any contest, but here we go. Go AZ cards, maybe scoop up CMC Fall, hoping he's not on the injury report. Yep. That's what I'm doing. Today could be the GM combo with CMC. Risk it for the biscuit. We're going to risk it. We are going to risk it for that biscuit, I must say. All right, let's see what we are doing here. So again, this is going to be quite different. Last year, they did not have a separate ADP for the Dog Bowl and 12-man BRs, which gave you an edge if you did a ton of these, because you actually kind of would get a sense of the true ADPs. This year, they actually do have a separate ADP. I think that's better. I don't think you should have to be like, creating your own spreadsheets of ADP to keep pace in a contest. Like ADP being accurate feels like not a huge ask for us. So as noted, running backs, very heavy running backs early. Let's see what we get at the 10 hole. I will get one of these backs, which I am happy about. My preference is Chase Brown. Been taking a ton of Chase Brown, but I will not say no to A-Chain or Bucky here myself. Northeast Sports Cards. I feel like I can't remember if that was the guy feuding with Pete or not, but I don't know. There was somebody with a something sports cards YouTube name that was like was in the ship chasing world causing trouble. So we get Chase Brown, the last helicopter out of Saigon with this running back run. As you can see, just a sea of green swinging by here. Now our question will be, who do we want at with our next pick? Brock Bowers, I don't mind. You can separate at tight end. The issue is it's much easier to have your last pick be a tight end if you're kind of tight end agnostic, especially on the right side of the board, because most of these people are going to save tight ends. You can get some decent options late, but if you think Bauer separates, you should take him here. Genty weirdly gets pushed. I feel like this ADP is a little phony. Interesting to see McBride go ahead of Bowers, but I don't know if this person is going to try to build something special. I love Drake London. Drake London is one of my highest receivers on the board, so I'm more than happy to start Chase Brown, Drake London. I think that's a great start. I should be able to get at least one running back I like here at pick 34, if that's the way we want to go. The other nice thing about Drake London is the quarterback is Penix. Penix usually only goes to the London drafter. If nobody wants, if the London drafter doesn't want Penix, they typically go undrafted. The only thing you got to watch for is you could get a Pitts Penix turn. People do that, but the only people at the turn are the right side of the board. This guy already has McBride, so I'd only really have to worry about Joka, and I cannot imagine Joka not taking Stroud or Stafford for his team. So I probably could, if I want to pencil in Penix at pick 63, I likely can do that. I don't know if that's who I want to take, but at least I can feel like I don't have to do one of those mid-tier quarterbacks. Something that's quite possible here is something like a Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton stack. That's something that's a little more frequent in the middle of the board. If I want to do that, I think that ADP kind of lines up here. Yeah, Nix at 40, Sutton is at 35. So that's something that you're going to see some people do in this contest, a kind of mid-tier stack. I think that's perfectly reasonable. I've done that in a few dog bowls, but I don't think that's the direction I'm going to go in this one. All right. The other thing is that you cannot go back and look at the draft boards of BRs and dog bowls when you're done. So if you want them, you literally have to take a screenshot or a picture. So I will probably at the end of this take a picture of my screen, because I do like to be able to save these and know what I'm doing for reference, kind of get a sense of where players go, see what the board looks like here. I don't think anyone in here is in this room. I really don't recognize too many names. I don't know Chad G20. Chad G20 is now cropped up in a few of my drafts. So Chad G20, if you're here lurking in the chat, you got to let me know, because this is becoming a little bit of a thing. Interesting to see McLaurin go at 27. I think that's like ahead of ADP. I mean, McLaurin ahead of Tyreek, McLaurin ahead of Amon-Ra to not the Daniels drafter is a little bit of a shocker to me. But again, we'll see what the room provides to us. The two people to my right do not have running backs, which is something I should note, because there is a chance that four running backs could go off the board. Four running backs could go off the board if I pass here, and I try to take one at 39. So, let's see. If I really want like Ken Walker and he comes to me, now would be the time to take him. It's funny because I've seen Jaylen Warren go very late in some of these, but running backs get pretty thin. He's kind of my like last running back I'm really comfortable with in this contest. Very interesting choice for me. Now, if I look, I have 4 people who can't take another running back. This guy can, so I have 4 people that could take a running back to my left. Ken Walker staring me in the face is really interesting. Jerry Jeudy is a receiver I like. I don't think I want to get too cute and pass on this Walker situation. If we find out that Charbonnet is really going to eat into his workload, then that kind of sucks. I don't know what to tell you, but let's not pass on that. I do like Warren. I do really think that we could see Jaylen Warren have a bigger week than people are expecting. But with Ken Walker falling to me, with the chance that Warren goes, and then I'm really kind of making this a 3 wide receiver build, I don't see any reason to pass on Walker. So let's get Walker onto the team. The next question here is, do we want a tight end at this point, or do we want a receiver? Again, I think if we're going to pencil in possibility of Penix, then I don't have to worry about who the other receiver ends up stacked with. Like, I could take JMO, and if someone takes Goff, that's fine. I could take MHJ, and if Kyler goes, that's fine. I really like Debo. I like Metcalf a little bit. Let's see. I'm intrigued by Jameson Williams. I really think there's a lot of upside on that one, but I've been doing a lot of JMO. I'm going to take MHJ. I don't think I have much MHJ, and I think he's kind of an intriguing pick. If he has a little bit bigger role this year, he's a guy I do want to sprinkle in some. I don't know if he's the best. I heard people saying that he's not the greatest pick for this. I don't know. I feel like we could see a pretty good week for them. That Saints game is a little bit weird. I don't know what to make of it. The Saints defense might not be as bad as some of us think. Their offense might be terrible. I don't know what to do with that. But what I do know is I don't want all of my clicks to be Debo and JMO here, and just take absolutely none of a guy that I think could be kind of exciting. So we'll mix in a Marvin Harrison Jr. share there. Chris Burkle, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in and hanging out. Best Ball Uncle, I thought you were going to take Igbuka. He would have been a perfectly good click there too. I agree. I just haven't really been taking much Igbuka. I feel like I'm a little concerned we're a little over our skis on the rookie. I mean, Mike Evans is still there. A lot of the offense is going to flow through Bucky. Cade Otton is healthy. When Cade Otton was possibly going to miss, I was a little more into Igbuka. I'm afraid the volume might not quite be there. Whereas, MHJ in a dome, kind of flying under the radar a little bit. It could just be really obvious. Like if the Cardinals just smash New Orleans, we could see a big Marvin Harrison Jr. day. So I don't know. Igbuka would have been a fine click. I mean, he's drafted in every one of these contests. I've got no problem with that. So I don't disagree that he would have been a thing. Again, I'm just not super duper worried about bringbacks in this format. I don't think it's something you like have to do when you're only taking six players here. I'm not quite as bring back centric as maybe in the main DFS stuff. Joel, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Trying to see what we can see. So looking over, just planning ahead, I can push tight end in this room because, again, this guy has McBride, this guy has Njoku, so it is highly unlikely that they take an additional tight end. In fact, Joka cannot. He has to take a quarterback and a running back. The sequel could take another tight end, but I would be stunned if they did. So all that is to say, I am going to take Penix on the off chance that one of them thinks Penix projects well and they decide they need a quarterback. I'm pretty confident they wouldn't take Penix, but I am far more confident they will not take another wide receiver. So let me go over there. Let's queue up Penix. I'll put as a emergency backup in here. Where are you, Justin Fields? I'll put Justin Fields as a backup option. Let's look at the tight ends. Pitts. I don't love double stacking in this, but it's not the end of the world if we did Pitts, Penix, and just really thought they went off. I think I'd rather go like Strange. I like Chig. Otten is, of course, interesting as a possible bring back. It sounds like I think he practiced fully yesterday. Yeah, gets back to full Thursday. So Otten's going to be, Otten's a full go. Maybe I'll move Otten up and we'll look at doing Penix Otten. Again, I'm not super bring back focused, but I also think that Otten in the very early dog bowls went undrafted because people were worried he wasn't going to play. I think he's not going to be owned in the entirety of the contest. Neither will, of course, Chig and Strange, but I think we actually have a reason to take Otten in this particular draft. So we're going to take Penix with our first pick. Again, I don't have to worry about Penix getting taken because this guy has a quarterback. He cannot take Michael Penix there. I don't have a reason to take any other quarterback. Kyler is long gone. And again, I don't want to stack Darnold with Ken Walker on this particular iteration of a team. So we'll get Michael Penix in there. And then let's see. I'll just move Justin Fields out. And then we will take Cade Otton. Cade Otton, again, he's pretty far down here. But if we look at the board, after we pick 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 more tight ends are going to go after we pick. So this guy takes Fields and Wilson. Again, this Fields-Wilson combo is basically free, and I like it quite a bit. I think it is going underrepresented. I think it's going very underrepresented because we're all scared of the game environment. But Garrett Wilson's going to get the vast majority of the targets in this game for the Jets. Fields, of course, has random massive spike week upside. Will it come against the Steelers? Probably not, but that's why he's going unknown, is because people are playing a little bit scared. But I'll end up with the Penix Otten mix. I'll keep this up because I think there's value in seeing who the late clicks are for some of these players. A lot of sharp people play these dog bowl drafts, although I don't recognize offhand any like true of the really high end names. I don't want to say any of these people aren't high end. They're just, if they are, I'm not aware of their name. Yeah, Jalen Warren at pick 66. So I could have ultimately pushed Warren to the end. That's interesting for me to note there. That said, I am perfectly fine with Ken Walker as my running back 2 on this team. I don't think I sacrificed too much. I basically would, if I had not taken Walker there, I would have taken another receiver earlier. And the only receivers that went before MHJ were Judy and Waddle. And then what quarterback would I do differently? Probably nothing. Maybe I would have gotten a different player instead of Otten. I don't know. I don't think the 2v2 really changes that much. And odds are Ken Walker's, Ken Walker's just going to project a lot better than Jaylen Warren. So that's my thoughts there. But interesting to note, Warren did go all the way in round 6 here. People just really scared of this Pittsburgh game. But who's not scared of Pittsburgh game is this half-retired person who has Metcalf and Warren on the team and an unstacked Daniel. So interesting stuff from them. Passed on Debo to take Sam Laporta. So interesting there. And T-Law goes with the last click to a guy with Stone 0 Jags. Good luck, TD. Not really sure what this guy's doing, but maybe he's not so sure either. And that'll do it for that dog bowl. I'm going to take my picture with my phone. You say, why aren't you just taking a screenshot like a normal human being? Well, I use my phone a lot more than my desktop. So if I actually want to see the screenshot, I need it on my phone. So apologies for that. Goes cards. Will people overreact way too much and draft Brian Robinson today? So funny you should say that, because I actually am considering in a dog bowl taking Brian Robinson, because you'll be able to get a giga unique combo. If you were able to take like running back, elite receiver, tight end, quarterback, and then Brian Robinson, like you'll be able to get combinations that are not done. I think if I did it, I'd kind of want it maybe more on the left side of the board and just maximize the combos. And then, if pick 72, Brian Robinson in a dog bowl could be good. It feels a little cute. And everyone with CMC is going to get Brian Robinson. So you're going to have a unique combo, but you're not going to actually get him unowned. You're just going to have a huge combinatorial edge. Is that worth the 0 risk? Maybe. It's just something I've been thinking about. And frankly, I just don't have the answer. But that's where we're at. Hulk Smashed Potatoes, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. Just wrapped up a dog bowl over here. We ended up with Chase Brown, Drake London, Ken Walker, MHJ, Michael Penix, and Kate Otten. I don't mind this little dog bowl team that we came, but Hulk Smashed Potatoes, thanks for coming out. Yeah, love the picture versus screenshot. Yeah, it's again, I'm on my phone so much more than my computer. I'm only really on here to stream. So just having a screenshot on this is not super helpful. Let's hop in a regular old BR. Waiting for one, and it's off. These are just going to be a little harder to draft with the people, especially on as the weekends approach. What is Chad? I don't know this Chad G20. I don't know if they're just also running a bunch of BRs. I'm not going to beat the allegations that I'm not in cahoots with them, because they're now showing up in a lot of these drafts with me. Not great, Chad. Not great. Anyway, I think we're going to be cowards and not take CMC at 2, because I think now that ADP is going to be a fake one, and we are going to be able to get CMC at the end of the first into the second as we as the day goes on and the fears grow. So truly unfortunate what is happening to our beautiful game, because I have so much CMC in best ball. I was going to jam CMC in my DFS stuff. So not great here, but you know what? We will do our best. I'll do my best to keep the board up so people can see what combinations people are doing. Keep ideas for themselves for later, for when you draft. You might see a stack that you hadn't been considering. It's a very fun game. It's a very fun game because you can do a lot of different stuff. So let's take Bijan with our first pick. Who Hames famously said Bijan was his 101. I wish I had been drafting like that. I've been drafting with CMC as my 101, but CMC goes at the 1.3 in this room. If nothing else, this will let me diversify from my my overweight position in CMC I had earlier in the week. Fake Chad, he takes Jahmyr Gibbs at the 4. So we will see what we can see in this particular room. Thinking, maybe if I want to live my truth and tell you guys I like Warren, I could possibly just not take a running back until pick 35 and just say that's going to be Warren. But I don't want to do that right now in case I do get a big faller on it's just so hard for me to not take Chase Brown. I don't understand his ADP. It drives me. It's living rent free in my head that Chase Brown's ADP is 17. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. He is going to have such a good game script and an incredible offense with nobody breathing down his neck for touches. I don't know what we're doing. I just don't know what the community is seeing. Hulk Smashed Potatoes, my CMC shares are not looking great, but my Garendo shares are showing signs of life. Oh gosh, I was a Garendo fader, and I felt very smart. And now Garendo is showing signs of life. Could I do Drake London, Bucky? Yes. But let's do Drake London. Oh, I can't automatically take Trey McBride. He could go. Oh no, wait, I don't want Drake London. No. I'm taking Trey McBride. I forgot I had Bijan. I don't want to do Bijan London. That's too much. That is, with no bye weeks, it is very, very hard for the true onslaughts to get there in BR. I mean, they can, but I don't want to do that in BR. RM covers, GM to you. Who's your favorite running back scroll? It's Warren. It is in the depths. Jalen Warren. I think he's going to be live to be a absolute PPR scam. I think Aaron Rodgers likes him. I think Caleb Johnson is in the shadow realm. I like Warren if I'm going to scroll into the depths of running back and a guy that nobody's going to take. People will take him in dog bowls. He'll be probably darn near 100% owned in dog bowls because he's literally the stone last running back you can take. So I've seen him go in all of them, but he goes pretty late. But he will go. In the 6 persons, he never goes. Nobody takes this guy. Gosh, Chase Brown's still here. Chase Brown is still here. Let's take Puka. I don't have much Puka. I'm going to try to push Chase Brown. If Chase Brown comes back to me, I'm going to take him, but I don't know. Somebody has to take Chase Brown. It doesn't make sense not to. I just don't want to have 100% exposure to Chase Brown. This might end up being a Kyler Murray team. I don't really have too much of that. Otherwise, we will come up with some other stack for this. I'll put Kyler up here. So many good wide receivers. I mean, so many good wide receivers. There's just no reason not to scroll a little bit for receiver. All right, Chase Brown goes. So let's live our truth. But then it's Josh Jacobs. I mean, that's the trouble. That's why it becomes so hard to scroll, right? I'm going to take Jalen Warren, but then it's oh, Josh Jacobs is here. Oh, Ashton Genty, that seems good. James Conner, that seems really good. Obviously not on the team with McBride, but that's why I think people set out to scroll, and then in the heat of battle, people just are oh, I'm gonna have this super team, and it is tough. It is tough. I might end up doing Amon-Ra Jacobs. I don't have very much Amon-Ra, and I don't have any great reason not to take Amon-Ra. He's struggled against Green Bay, at least he did last year. But I'll take an Amon-Ra share at here. I'm trying to vary what I do. Maybe I should have taken Kyler, because this guy's live to take Kyler. Kyler's got some rushing upside, so maybe I'd want that one back. Maybe I'd want that one back if I had time to think about it, because I really don't want to make a Goff or Stafford team. That doesn't seem great. And Josh Jacobs goes, so that might have been a little unfortunate. I think I would have taken Kyler and done something different there. But let's see what this guy does. Again, I don't know why he would take Kyler, because he doesn't have any pieces of it, nor can he get any pieces of it. But people do what they want to do. He, however, wants to use his entire clock, and and take Baker. All right, Chad here and Java need quarterbacks, so let's not risk it. Let's just take Kyler, and then we'll end the team with Jalen Warren. So this team's going to be Kyler, Bijan, Puka, Amon-Ra, Trey McBride, and Jalen Warren. I think that'll be fine. Again, I think this team should have a little bit of uniqueness. It's got a pretty cool Kyler to McBride stack. It's got 2 wide receivers we were taking in the first round of best ball. It's got Bijan. I mean, what more can you want? What more if this team is not live, then what team is? RM Cover says true. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of great ones. I mean, Tony Pollard, I don't mind either. He's not quite as scrolly. If Warren makes you a little queasy, Pollard is going to get all of the touches that we know of, other than ones that go to Joey Chestnut when he's not eating hot dogs. Pollard's going to get a lot. I don't mind that. Pollard's fine. Obviously, it's a tough matchup, but he's somebody that if you're a projectable volume bro, you can definitely get there, and I'm going to have some of. I'm definitely going to get some Tony Pollard there. We take Jalen Warren. So this team ends up being Kyler, Bijan, Jalen Warren, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra, and Trey McBride. Did anyone do anything weird? This guy took Drake May unstacked. This guy didn't stack Daniels. This guy did Burrow Higgins. I like that. This guy is a genius in the 2-hole, and the 1-hole needs a tight end. But they took Baker with Bucky. Again, like, you can do this, but I feel like I'd rather do it with a quarterback with a little more rushing juice than maybe Baker Bucky. But I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm pretty. It feels thinner than maybe it looks when we're optimistically projecting our RPR teams. All right, let's just do a main BR. Let's do a main BR. We've done 29. This is going to be BR 30. This is going to be BR 30. Also, we're an hour into the stream. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for a name of the stream, I'm soliciting that too. Goes cards. Even if CMC doesn't have an injury designation for the game, will his DFS ownership drop because of the current Q tag? Yeah, I think it will. I don't know what they could say at this point to alleviate somebody's concern about it. Pricing is so soft this week that there's a lot of really good options. Now, CMC to me was the softest price at 7,300. I think it was very hard to not just giga jam him when he's healthy. He's like $9,000 player. But it's also a week with no buys. The only weird thing is we have one more Friday night game. But the elite running backs are legion. You can take Bijan, you can take Gibbs. There's a lot of like pretty nice options there. So why would you risk like a bad workload, an injury? People are going to start saying Seattle's defense is scary. You're going to get that FUD. So I think CMC's ownership is going to drop again, unless he has a full practice today and afterwards they say is veteran rest, and then they have him take a lie detector test, and that's true. I think no matter what, people are going to be very, very wary. I'm going to be wary. I made 3 lineups, and they all had CMC, and now I'm starting to think like, maybe I want to pivot here. Maybe that's a lot of eggs in a basket. I don't want to be tied in. All right, you know what? Let's take Jonathan Taylor at the 101. Let's live a little. Let's live a little from the 1-hole. Let's try something different. See if we can't shake the room up a little. I don't think you really need to like board flip or do anything too crazy. I think it's getting slightly cute, but I don't love Jamar Chase at number 1. And then I think this is a very flat tier of running back between Gibbs, Bijan, Nico. Like they're all fine. They're all fine, but I don't think there's like a huge break between the, the 1 and the 3 or the 3 and the 4 or anything like that this week. I think you can go a lot of different directions this time. All right, Tom Pellicero apparently just said, quote, "I will say this cautiously. I do not get the sense, based on the conversations I've had, there are alarm bells going off about Christian McCaffrey at this point. If there's any player you are going to take precautions with, if he feels something in practice, it's the guy who is arguably your best player." So take that for what it's worth. Apparently there's not alarm bells. That's good. We don't want alarm bells. But you know what? The alarm bells over here at Chad HQ are ringing loudly because I am still terrified. I am still terrified. If I could go Nico London, I will do that. That seems good. Let's just go Nico London. That's fun. We got Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins, and Drake London on the team. We need, one more running back we can take. I mean, if somehow Chase Brown comes all the way back, we would windmill that pick in. Probably won't, but if he did, we'd take that. Can you go Taylor A-Chain? Sure. I mean, I think DFS Poobas will tell you it's bad to have 2 running backs facing each other. And that's really just a function of typically the game scripts say that, like, if one team is run heavy, the other team is probably pass heavy. And if both teams are run heavy, then the game environment sucks and you don't want it. The problem is Taylor and A-Chain, I think, are kind of unique where they have such explosive, they're not like 30 carry for 108 yards when they get it. Like A-Chain's going to be like 14 carries for 140 yards. Like you're going to have those explosive chunk plays. So I don't mind A-Chain and Taylor. The way that they're going to get there is not going to be on volume. It's going to be on efficiency, at least in my opinion. So I'm happy to take A-Chain. I don't think people are going to do that too frequently, but we'll see if we can get it. Nobo Sox needs a running back. I got 2 other people that can take running backs. Here, Master Bell can also take a running back. So let's see if he comes back to us. I doubt he will. Could I do Tyreek? Yeah, I really prefer to go 2 running backs. However, I would make an exception for Tyreek Hill because he is not your average wide receiver. He can absolutely go nuclear. So I think this is my order of preference. If both of them go, then we are back in scrolling territory for somebody. So Tyreek is here. We're going to take Tyreek, and then let's take a good tight end. I mean, Laporta, Kraft. I don't have much Laporta, but I don't really have a great reason to not take him other than he's 100% owned. But I think this is going to be kind of a fun build. So let's take Tyreek again. I like Kraft. I don't really want to do Warren and Jonathan Taylor. I'll take Laporta. I'll just eat the kind of chalk with that pick. Then the fun question is going to be what quarterback do we take? We got Tua, we got Stroud, and we've got Penix here. My inclination is Tua because to me, Jonathan Taylor, Tyreek says that this is the game you need. This game goes absolutely nuke. And so Tua takes you there. I think that's the direction I'll lean. Again, you can always take like a random unstacked Fields and do that. I don't think this is the team for that. I think this team I have like at least one story that's told. If I really wanted to take, I can include Goff in there. I have Goff, Laporta. I think that's cuter than I need to get. I have 2 people that need quarterbacks. This guy has A-Chain, so could he take Tua? Yeah, I hope he doesn't because he has Warren, so he is lining up a version of this stack. Very unlikely that he's taking Russell Wilson. I've never seen him go in BR. Could be taking Staffy. I'm a little nervous that Tua is going to go to this guy. We'll see. This guy over here, Baker went to the Bucky drafter. So we're seeing this in 2 drafts in a row now. I really don't love that, but that does take Baker from him. He takes Joe Flacco. He stacks Flacco and Njoku, so that's interesting there. All right, Mike Deck. I'm tuning in. Rename the show to Wake Up Fantasy Nerds. I mean, that is definitely live. That is definitely live to be the new team name here. Hey, Mike Deck, thanks so much for coming in and hanging out with us this morning as us sweaty nerds roll on. Wake up, sweaty fantasy nerds. Let's see. Oh, so Kyler goes. All right, that's fine. Kyler's got some rushing upside. You can take him naked if you want. Not how I would necessarily build, but I see the vision. I see the vision. All right. So that team is a wrap. That is a 1-1-3-1. I will not do tons of these, but I will sprinkle them in when they make sense. We got Tua, Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins, Drake London, Tyreek Hill, and slammin' Sammy Laporta. I think the team's fine. I wish the tight end was a little more imaginative than Laporta, but Laporta is a fine enough click there. Joel says, huge fan of the Flacco and Njoku stack. I don't mind that. I don't mind the Flacco and Njoku stack. My only issue is Flacco for a scroll quarterback, I think is going to be owned more than we think. People are frothing to get into that Cleveland Bengals game. Flacco, of course, seems like the sneaky play. Flacco and Njoku is going to be, Flacco Judy is going to be done. So I think Flacco and Njoku is fine. I'm not saying not to do this, but I'm saying it's not the hidden gem that maybe we hoped it is. Let's see, how far are we from getting a dog bowl off? We are waiting for 2. All right, let's do one more dog bowl. And then I'm probably going to call it here. I think I'm going to call it here after one more dog bowl. Again, really appreciate you all hanging out with me this morning. Been so much fun. Hopefully you guys have had some fun too. We'll see if we can't get this one filled. I guess let me check my exposures. I kind of forgot you can do this. So if I go to my teams, what have I been doing? Let's check quarterback. So I can't remember what your expected exposure is in this contest. So I've been spreading it out. So this makes me feel good. I've definitely been spreading out my my quarterbacks a bit here. Running back, a lot more concentrated. You can see a ton of CMC. Chase Brown, that's kind of the hill I'm willing to die on. Wide receiver, again, Drake London, the hill I'm willing to die on. Love Drake London. Lots of Mike Evans, lots of Jerry Jeudy, JMO clicks. Not too bad. Tight ends. Yeah, I need to sprinkle this a lot more. Definitely need to do more. I don't think this refreshed because I should have a Laporta share in there. Okay, that did not refresh since the last time. So a little more sprinkled than a little more concentrated on like Kraft and Strange than I want to be. Let's see, going back to this. Yeah, tons of Drake London. I'm okay with a heavy stand on Drake London. I think Drake London is dramatically underpriced here. Evans, Tyreek, Jeudy, that all tracks with kind of my feeling on the week. Again, a lot of Chase Brown, CMC, Bucky, Bijan, Taylor, and that makes sense that these guys would all be would all be highly owned to our first round picks. Quarterback, pretty spread out. Really trying to spread them out with the various pass catchers. Let's check the. Let me make sure my BR is not. No, we're still waiting for 2 in the dog bowl. Let's check our dog bowl exposures. We got 13 teams, so a few Penix teams. That makes sense. I guess each team here is 7.7%. So 3 Penix teams, 2 Knicks teams, 2 Fields teams, 1 Daniels, 1 Burrow, 1 Purdy, 1 Baker, 1 Love, and 1 Aaron Rodgers team. Chase Brown, Warren, Pollard, Connor, Ken Walker. So again, trying to keep it spread out, although heavily weighted towards Chase Brown because I think he's the most underpriced place. I guess I've been scrolling more for Warren than I even realized. That's probably higher than it needs to be. I don't know. I think I want 30% Warren, but we shall see. Drake London, big fan. JMO. I'm glad I took I'm glad I took that MHJ share. I mean, I like JMO, but I don't need to jam him in all of these. I don't love the matchup this week as much as I like JMO in season long. I don't know if week 1 is this week in Green Bay is my favorite week for JMO, but I do obviously like him enough to be clicking him quite a bit. Tight end. Found myself taking some elite tight end at the beginning because I think there's so many good scrolly receivers. I don't mind trying to get elite. So yeah, a couple shares of Strange, a couple shares of Otten, a couple shares of Kraft. So, spreading it out, but trying to concentrate, trying to correlate with our pass catchers there. All right, still waiting for 2. These sometimes can take a little bit of time to fill, but we will see. Goes cards with 80% of BRs having 1-2-2-1 builds this week, which means every running back combo will be drafted. Is this a week to have a higher amount of wide receiver in the flex? So that's a great question. And I think the issue is running back is just going to project better. The rate at which running back wins contests is higher than the rate at which it's done, meaning that even when we're all doing it, we're still not quite doing it enough. So I don't think it's the time to zag when everyone's zigging. However, I think it's going to be a little case by case. Maybe that warms me up a little bit to doing it if I think that there's a wide receiver who I really like I just did in the last draft where I took Tyreek as a wide receiver 3. I think a Tyreek spike game could outscore every single running back on the slate. So I'm willing to do that there. Where I'm a little more hesitant is if my third wide receiver is like Devontae Adams, Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden. Then I'm starting to feel like I'm kind of like telling myself a story of a player who I really need to have. It's a little thinner for me to see them outscoring the same running backs in that range, if that makes sense. So I think it's going to be a little dependent on who the wide receiver is, what the environment is. Is it to complete a stack? Is it a guy that you think is under projected? That's how I would handle it. But I wouldn't go into the draft like with the intention of like I'm gonna do a 1-1-3-1 team. I would go into the draft open-minded about 1-1-3-1 builds, if that makes sense. But obviously getting different is a huge edge, but you just don't want that to be like getting worse. It's a half PPR website. Like it's very, we see it all the time. We see the running back hitting the flex in BRs. We see it happen in BBMs. Like just the half PPR scoring format is very tilted towards the running back. So we've got Mr. Worth in here at the 5-hole. Jewish McCaffrey, legendary player, in at the 10. I am at the 12. I don't really like the 12 in BR. It's tough. It's tough. If you push running back, you could really get frozen out, which I've tried to do from the 12. My 112-hole team, I tried to push running back to the 3-4 turn, and it was like super duper ugly. I don't know. Makes me a little bit nervous, but we will do our best. We will do our best. Oh, well, you never have to do that, Joel, but if you want to run some dog polls, I do appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Good luck. Good luck to you in this. These are tough contests, and I'm glad to see you in here. So let's see what the room gives to us. Hopefully I'll see you in Kansas City. Let's see. And we are off and running. Neil at the 9. Is that Neil Orfield at the 9? Yeah, we got problems. Joel. We got some real killers in this room. You're gonna find that though. If you want to draft with the best of the best, these dog bowl rooms have it. So don't forget to take a photo of the board with your cell phone when you're done with it, because you'll definitely want those. All right. Mr. Worth, he takes Jonathan Taylor. I like that. Oh, nice. Okay. Got it. I don't know if he's actually streaming right now or not. We will see. But yes, I will probably wrap it after this draft. Devon A-Chain at the 6. Remember A-Chain, like in regular BRs, we were getting him in the 3-4. Here he's going in the 1. Running backs get thin in this format. Let's see what happens, because if we don't get Chase, Bucky, and Jacobs here, it just sucks. It just sucks from the 12 hole. I mean, I don't mean to put it as crass as that, but it's absolutely brutal at the back end of the draft board. You're either reaching a ton for running back, or you are fully clenched, hoping something comes to you at the 3-4 turn, which it may not. But we will persevere. We'll see what the room is willing to give us. Jewish McCaffrey's going to take a running back. I know Jewish McCaffrey. He's not going to take Brian Thomas Jr. there. That's all right. So we're going to take Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs, podium pick. I like Drake London a lot. Brock Bowers kind of fun. If he separates at tight end, then I like that. I'm thinking. I mean, I could take Connor. I could take Kamara. We're definitely taking Jacobs. Let's do Jacobs Bowers. We're going to do Jacobs Bowers, and we're going to figure it out. We end a lot of our teams with tight end. I know I have some Bowers teams in BR, but let us hope we get a true separation week from Broccoli Bowers there. Again, opinions may vary. That could be bad. I might have needed to just eat my vegetables and take James Conner. I'm certainly willing to admit I could be wrong, but I'm going to try to go elite tight end in this particular room and pray that it works out for us. Jewish McCaffrey takes no chances. He takes Alvin Kamara there. Neil goes elite tight end. That makes me feel better. All right, Neil, we're in this together, buddy. You don't know me, Mr. Orfield, but we're in the streets together. You have no running backs, so good luck to you, sir. He takes Trey McBride. He's going to be in the same leaky boat as me. Let's see what the Jaden Daniels drafter does. Copper Prices is I've seen this guy around. I can't remember if he was a BR, won the main BR as well. I feel like he's notable for something, but apologies to Copper Prices. I don't remember for what. Boarding 84. Don't know who this is. He's also got no running back. So him and player Q, aka Neil, he's they're going zero RB in a dog bowl. My God. Hartman, GM to you. Thanks so much for coming in, hanging out. We're running a dog bowl. We are we're seeing what we can see. We're in a room of killers here. We got Mr. Worth here at the 5. We got Copper Prices at the 6. We got Neil Orfield at the 7. At the 9. Jewish McCaffrey at the 10. So a who's who. J-Dubs, he takes Drake London. Love the pick. Love Drake London in this format. I almost took him at 13. So like that there. This all 419 guy takes Kittle. So he goes Kittle McCaffrey. Interesting to see that. He's building out a San Francisco bet there. Would be surprised to see Purdy not end up on this team. Turbans goes Chase, Burrow, and Higgins. So Turbans thinks he's in a BBM. We got a BBM drafter going Chase, Burrow, Higgins here. Very interesting to see that. The Bengals Giga Stack is formed. No running backs are taken by him. That probably bears well for us. We might get a running back we like swinging around, but we will see. Cortland Sutton goes here. I was actually considering Sutton over on my side of the universe, so obviously I can stop considering that because it's not going to happen. We will see what Awe does. Does he take JSN? Is he trying to build a game stack? Curious what he does. He takes Tyreek Hill. Makes sense. Tyreek Hill's damn good. Tyreek Hill probably would have looked nice on Mr. Wirt's teams with Jonathan Taylor, but he gets Chuba Hubbard, a nice consolation prize there. Let's pull up the board. Let's see what the room wants to do. All right, so we got a few people done at running back. Interesting. Let's see what Copper Prices does. I think this is where, gosh, running back gets so gross. Running backs get so gross. If I could guarantee Tyler Warren would be there at pick 60, I'd do it. He did that in the last one I was in. I just don't know if I can actually count on that. And of course, everybody is to my left. So it's not like I can count who needs running backs. Everybody needs running backs. This guy even needs 2 running backs. So it'll be, we will see. We will see what people do here. We'll see what we do here. Tony Pollard, so Tet McMillan, Terry McLaurin, JSN. All options. Could we double tap Baker and Igbuka here? Possibly. That would be interesting. Quarterback Kyler's here. I mean, we could do Kyler MHJ. I think that's sort of fun. We probably need a wide receiver. I don't think I could pass on Tony Pollard if he comes to me, but he's not going to come to me. So now we're in this ungodly hell. Travion would be fun, but I got to think that player Q, Neil, is going to... I actually don't think Neil is a Travion guy. I don't think Neil's going to take him. I don't think Neil's going to do it. So let's see. Let's queue up Travion. Looking at the wide receivers. Interesting. I think I'd take another JMO swing here. I think doing anything other than that, I'm going to be sad. So let's lock up Travion. Obviously we wish that Ramondre didn't exist, but let's hope that Travion could really be that efficiency monster. I don't have Travion in the dog bowl yet. That could be a fun way to win the dog bowl and get us a seat to Kansas City with Travion Henderson. Jameson Williams, he's my guy. I have planted the flag firmly on Travion Henderson. So we will do that. We've got a few different options. For how we want to land this plane. Tyreek would have been nice. Alas, this is falling nicely. Yeah, I don't mind this. I got Travion and Bowers, a little game stack there. I've got Jacobs and JMO, another game stack there. So I've got a few ways we could potentially land this aircraft. Just have to decide exactly how we want to do it. Let's check in on what the best and brightest are doing. Jewish McCaffrey, he went Bucky, Kamara, Njoku, JSN. So pretty meat and potatoes lineup from Jewish McCaffrey there. Will be interesting to see if he does Flacco, Njoku. I know that was mentioned earlier in this chat. People like that. He could take Sam Darnold, or he could do a receiver quarterback double tap that we haven't seen yet. Copper Prices, let's see. Oh, Neil Orfield, he takes Nico McBride, Judy, and he takes Ford. So he goes Ford and Judy. So he's also building out a Brown stack. It'd be interesting to see if he wants Flacco, then he's I guess he's going to have to take him ahead of JMC, but we'll see if that's the direction he wants to go. I kind of thought that he was going to take Kyler to pair with McBride, but he does not. All right, let's see. Copper Prices, he went A-Chain, Evans, Ken Walker, and Devontae Adams. Don't mind that. I think that's fine too. J-Dub, so he takes the Tyreek Hill we have at home in Jalen Waddle, so he does build out the Colts Dolphins stack. Of course, he has the jump if he wants Tua. He has the jump on the Tyreek guy if that's his last round quarterback. Obviously, he can do whatever he wants, but that is always nice to have the optionality against the Hill drafter there. He takes Garrett Wilson. Surprised to see Garrett Wilson go this early. So I wonder if he's setting up a last round Justin Fields click. Now that is a last round combo that's sort of a bit of a lifeboat for some. By some, I mean me. So that takes that possibility off the board. I had considered doing Garrett Fields double tap with 60 and 61. I was not committed to that, but it was one of those options in my head if the other plans fell apart. Matthew Golden going here to the Amon-Ra drafter. So people still looking at the game stack correlations. Artillery Frost goes cards. Charles, normally 3 wide receiver weeks are the shorter slates, not like this. Intuitively, that sounds right. I don't know if that's true, Artillery Frost, but you are very sharp, so I'm going to choose to believe that. I'm going to choose to believe that. I have not dug into that much. This Tubins guy, he's going 3 wide receiver, which I think is perfectly fine in the dog bowl. He takes Laporta and Debo, so it just kind of goes best player available. The Sutton drafter takes Bo Nix. Let's start looking at the. We need one more wide receiver. Who can it be? Who could it be? Steph Diggs, of course, interesting selection. If we wanted to do a large bet on New England, I don't think that's the way I want to go. Pittman, Olave. I like DK Metcalf. I'm dodging 3 people. This guy can't take a receiver. He can't take a receiver. He can't take a receiver. So I got 3 people who could take receivers ahead of me. So I really only have to queue up 3 wide receivers. I like Metcalf. Ridley's going to be largely unowned, but I don't know if that's where I want to go. Man, got thin. It got thin. I'm scrolling too far. I am scrolling too far. I'm going to queue up Metcalf. He'll probably be gone. I don't like Ricky Pearsall. It's too murky. Travis Hunter, kind of a fun upside swing. I don't know if I want to do Diggs and Travion. That's a lot. That's a lot. Ridley, I'm a little leery about with the Surtain business. Juwan Jennings is even more leery. Downs is fine. Pittman's fine. Olave's fine. Those are all decent enough options. So tough choice for me here. Tough choice for me. We'll see what Jewish McCaffrey does here. We'll see what Jewish McCaffrey does in this spot. I wish I had something I felt a little better about right now in my wide receiver room. I don't want to do Jacoby and Bowers as the double there. I think that's a little thin. JMC, he takes Travis Hunter. Okay, so he was in the same quandary as me. I could see him thinking over there. I think I just take Metcalf. I think I just take DK Metcalf. He's the wide receiver 1, Aaron Rodgers revenge game. I'm kind of into that. I'm not gonna lie. And then what if we just take Geno? We'll take Geno and Bowers. Bring back there. I mean, let's do it. Let's take Metcalf, Geno. Let's land the plane like that. So kind of fun. Metcalf, not the worst way to end the team, I don't think. I'll pull the board up so people can see what we're doing. I could have taken Diggs there, but yeah, I think I just could see Aaron Rodgers being like F you and wanting to score a bunch of passing touchdowns and just getting there. So I don't mind that. I mean, Metcalf was a little bit past ADP. ADP is squirrely. Like, don't get hung up on ADP in these contests too much, but I don't mind that. I don't mind the way that this team ended up rolling out. Ghost cards. I feel like there are not too many workhorse running backs, but there are 32 wide receiver ones. That is fair. Well, yeah, that's why it's better in short slates, because there's less workhorse running backs. The supply of workhorse running backs in big slates is enough that 3 wide receivers are generally bad, but in short slates, 2 wide receiver becomes worse because the pool of running backs is shallower. Yeah, I think I agree with your logic, Artillery Frost. I think that makes sense. So Jewish McCaffrey, he ends the team with Travis Hunter, Lawrence. I mean, that's not a bad way to end if Hunter really is good. Player HQ, he does take Flacco as suspected with Judy and Ford after RKFD took Kyler there to take with MHJ. So let's see. Player Q, of course, Neil. Again, we knew that Neil was not a Travion guy, and so he ends up with Ford and Etienne. I think I'd rather have Travion, but Neil Orfield knows a lot more about football than me. Copper prices, he gets Daniel Jones unstacked. Very interesting there. That was another potential backstack, was Daniel Jones, like Daniel Jones Pittman, Daniel Jones Downs. I could have done that, but I think Metcalf and Geno is a little little stronger considering we invested so much in Brock Bowers. J-Dubs, he gets Drake May, so he does an instant stack late. He gets Hunter Henry, Drake May. They're interesting that that you did not choose to go with Penix or Tua, and you chose to stack Henry. That is an interesting decision. I think Drake May will probably not be owned in most of the slates, so I don't mind that. I can't say that's how I would have played it, but maybe that's why you're going to win this week, because that is something that really wasn't kind of on my radar there. So fun draft, fun team. I'm gonna do the weird thing where I take a picture on my cell phone, and you could all laugh riotously at me. But again, I will lose the screenshots if I just take a screenshot. It goes into some folder, God knows where, and I will never look at it again. So that's it. That's the team. Jacobs, Bauer, Travion, and then Jameson Williams, DK Metcalf, Geno Smith. Hopefully, going to see you guys in Kansas City. Metcalf, Geno isn't a stack anymore. You scared me. I have Bowers and Geno. You're freaking me out, Hartman. But yes, you're right. If this last year would have been another, this would have worked also. Ghost cards. I agree. Artillery Frost, but for getting unique combos is a priority. And this week, it seems like a flex wide receiver is that. I think you still can get unique combos with the running backs. I think there are a lot more combinations of running back than you think, especially when you then add in like your wide receivers on top of those combos. I don't think you need to get unique by turning a wide receiver into a running back into a wide receiver. But I mean, people win these with 3 wide receivers, so I don't think it's like the end of the world, but I don't think it gives you any kind of huge edge, especially if the numbers at least from last year showed that 2 running back was underdone, and it was done a lot, and we still weren't doing it enough in these contests. Joel, just trying to get different. Well, you definitely accomplished that. And I don't say that in like a condescending way. You certainly got different. Hunter Henry is not owned in most of the contest, and Hunter, like Hunter is the combo. Then you're going to be up against like 4 people that are doing it. So I don't think that's like objectively like was a terrible thing to do. Ghost cards. I'm saying 80% RB flex. Your portfolio is 60 or 50. It's like getting in on Hunter earlier before he explodes. Yeah, I definitely see your argument. Again, I just worry that you're sacrificing projection too much in favor of uniqueness. And you can reach a tipping point where that's bad. And I just don't know if like overweighting your portfolio in a build that isn't as good. At a certain point, the slider bar shifts too far. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying you hit that point. This is a question for like a Shady Advice or like a Nez who are bigger on the like number crunching and can figure that out. Intuitively though, I'm a little more left curve where I'm like, this is a good structure. We're not doing it enough. I'm going to do that structure. Like that's like my very 60 IQ take on it. Like that, which could be wrong. But that's just like the way that I've been playing it this week. Yeah. Bret Hart's still alive. Yeah. We established that a few streams ago. I thought, it was Owen Hart. I got my wrestlers mixed up, but I am glad to hear Bret the Hitman Hart still among us. Tiber Uppercut, by the way, thanks so much for coming in. This time next week, I'll be saying RB was the way to go since it won someone $50K and punched 3 dog tickets. Well, the dog bowl is the exception to requiring 3 RB, and maybe this dovetails with Artillery Frost with your point, where the late running backs like turn to dust. And some of the late wide receivers begin to out project those very late running backs. And so, again, I think like, Jalen Warren, I think is fine. Again, if I knew Jalen Warren was going to be here in the last round, maybe instead of Travion, I take, MHJ, JSN, someone like that. But I couldn't rely on that. Like, we went 2 full rounds where only 2 running backs went, and they both went to Neil Orfield. So it is interesting. It is interesting to see, like, rounds 1 through 3, all these running backs went. Rounds 4 through 6, a total of 5 running backs went in the last 5 rounds. And that's because, like, this guy took Dylan Sampson. Like, I have to think that one of those late wide receivers would have projected better than Dylan Sampson. This is a bad example because this is he did go 1 running back, 3 receivers. To me that's just like, that's too thin. I know what he was trying to do. He had this Cincinnati game. I wonder if he was banking on Ford initially as his bring back, and then he went. But very interesting stuff. It's a really fun game. It's not a solved game. We can have these discussions because there is not like a set right answer. But again, if you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. We're on the road to 200 subs. We're hopefully on the road to Kansas City. We'll know if we're getting there on Monday, I guess, or Sunday night. Hopefully we are. I wish I could say I had any hope of streaming this weekend, but I do not. I am single coverage with the kid. The wife is out of town, so I will not be able to get on at all. But I will see you all in the BR streets. I will see you all in the Discords, and have a wonderful weekend. Good luck with your teams. Good luck with your DFS, and I'll see you all Monday. Take care, everyone.